I like your hair today.
You like my hair?
Well, yeah, well, it's good. It's obviously getting a little longer, but it's got a nice like swoop over the top, like the part. It's looking good.
Thanks. It
It
took
look,
me longer than I care to admit to make it look like that, but
no, it's
you
good.
know,
It looks like good quality, you know. Like it's got a nice shine to it.
I haven't put a lot of product on. It's some like mousse and stuff. And,
Trust me, I get it. Beauty is
you gotta
pain,
take care of.
Scotty.
That's right. I have to take care of whatever I have left. Before it's gone. So go out with style,
Yeah.
literally.
I wanted to actually ask you about, are you getting excited about the new Batman movie?
No, no,
Why
not
not?
at all.
Well, hold on a second. This is really surprising to me because I actually thought I was going to bring it up and you were going to light up because it's Batman and everybody, I mean, the Batman movies, it's like a staple of our pop culture. You know, what? You're shaking your head like you're so. I know Ben Affleck did some shit and it wasn't great. I'll admit I didn't see any of them, so like I can't really say that they weren't good or not. But I
That's
did they.
that's 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 the problem, Kev. The problem is that it's a movie that no one asked for. No one wants another Batman. Like
Mm,
I just in my life, there's been I don't know what 9 Batmans now. Like it gets to a point where I just don't,
You didn't.
I don't want another.
You wouldn't say that about James Bond movies.
But there's if listen, if they actually did, if there was a more cohesive strategy to the Batman movies that there was with James Bond, I'd be all for it. If you had like segmented like, hey, there's going to be like it feels like the people who like make the Batman movies and like DC, whoever's in charge, whatever the movie company is, they just like, oh, we need another Batman movie. It's been 3 years. Like there's no plan for it. It's just like, all right, who's going to be this time? What kind of and they had the failed Justice League, stuff. It's not good. Whereas James Bond has been made by the same movie production company, you know, since its beginning. The Broccolis. They had a James Bond for he'd work in 4 or 5 movies. Some of the movies would be related to each other, some of them wouldn't, but that'd be fine. They'd move on to the next one. They would stick with it, and you could tell that there was a cohesive plan. This is not this. There's nothing like that with this Batman. With Batman's these days. The first nowadays, the first few, like the ones with Michael Keaton, were great. That's what made Batman big time. And then the Christian Bale ones were really good too. And those were awesome. I loved those. I was all in on those things. But now, like, I don't know, Ben Affleck, Pattinson, like, just get out of here with any of that. No
You're
thanks.
just waving
I,
get out
I
of
don't.
here, but you're saying you're. It's not true that they haven't had a plan. The Christian Bale ones were very.
The plans, those were good. I just said they're good.
Oh, okay, well, that's been the only actual Batman specific movie aside
That's
from the
that's
Justice
15
League
years.
and what?
It's 15 years. That's 15 years ago, though,
Okay, and
when those movies were
in
out.
the meantime, they have been doing the Justice League stuff, the Batman Superman stuff. They're trying to compete with Marvel because they have all the Avengers. It's all at the same time, so they're competing. You have to think of it like a business. They have to do certain things. But to say that nobody wants a Batman movie and they haven't been organized, that's not true. I just clearly disagree with that. This could be the next in a series of 3 movies where things are consistent and they put a cohesive storyline together. They're bringing back Catwoman. I mean, just give it a chance, man. I mean, to say that nobody wants a Batman movie, they've been making Batman movies since the '80s. Like that's just not true, and they keep making them because people keep going to see them. So maybe you don't want another Batman movie, you old curmudgeon, but people want the Batman movies. They're going to continue to be made. So instead of fighting against it, why don't you see the value in it and get excited about it?
No one wants that Batman movie. How about that? No
You
one
don't
wants
even know it. You
this
can't even say
Batman.
Robert
I
Pattinson's
do.
name.
Exactly. No,
Not exactly.
listen,
Not
listen,
exactly. That's bad, Scotty. That's a bad argument.
listen.
Because you can't pronounce someone's name means that no one else wants to see the movie.
Edward Cullen or whoever the dude from Twilight is not my Batman. Okay, he's never going to be my Batman. That guy, he's not a Batman. The reason why,
Edward
look,
Cullen.
these Batman movies lately have sucked, and they have to bail on these strategies and make new ones because they haven't been good. People don't like them. People don't want to see them. Yeah, they get promoted. They get, they because it's a big, big budget, type of thing. So they get promoted. It's all over the commercials. People, it makes you think that it's popular. People want it, but I guarantee this is going to be a box office flop.
Do you understand how crazy you sound right now?
How? How do I sound crazy?
That's like saying, "Oh, no, Burger King, nobody's buying our chicken tenders. Let's make them 5 times bigger." That's not how business works. I mean, people they know that these movies there's a market for it. People don't just spend this kind of
Evan,
money and invest this much time and effort and money into this production. People don't do that if they
really?
don't think that.
There's never been big budget movie flops.
There
There's
have
never
been
been that
big budget
before.
movie flops, but this is an established brand. It's totally different than just like something like the Green Lantern movie. Nobody knows Green Lantern. It was a brand new movie. It was the first of its time. The CGI was still developing, and it wasn't a good casting. Ryan Reynolds and stuff. It flopped, but that doesn't mean that this
The
Batman movie is
last
going
few
to
Batman
flop.
movies, all of the DC comic movies have been big flops,
That's that
relative to
might
the
be true,
budget.
Scotty. But this
That
that
is
they.
true.
I'm saying it might be true because you don't. I mean, you're not giving me numbers. I'm assuming that I'm taking your
So
word for
you're
it.
telling me I'm crazy for saying that this next movie is par for the course. That this is going to be yet another
But
failed DC
those
machination.
those DC movies weren't Batman solo movies. They're not. They won't be trying to do too much. It'll be a straightforward Batman style story that people can understand and will like. They will like it. I mean, I don't understand why. I get what you're saying with like the Justice League and the Superman versus Batman stuff. Those were like some weird concoction things, and I don't think anybody ever bought Ben Affleck. I mean, that was like the most pushback I've seen. I don't think there's going to be a lot of pushback with this new guy. I don't think so. I mean, you saying that, Scott, I'm just trying to say, you saying that is like nobody wants another Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man's blowing up right now. They just had the latest
I never
one.
said that.
I know you're.
Spider-Man is
Hold on a minute.
wildly successful.
I know you're not saying that, but see, okay. So just to make sure I'm clear, you're saying that your claim is that nobody wants a Batman movie because the last several DC movies have been flops or haven't done well. That's your point? Because the last solo Batman movies have done quite well.
People would want a good, successful Batman movie. No one wants this shit.
You don't even know what it is. This is so hard talking to you about it. You're so
I know what
wrong.
it is.
You're so wrong.
I know just as much as anyone else does about it.
So you're not
Am I
going to go.
wrong?
So you're not going to go see it.
No, I might see it. I might see it. We'll see.
Full of shit, man. Okay. Um, well, welcome to the show, everyone. I wanted to do a little bit of cleanup, and not even a cleanup. I just wanted to make one comment coming off of our last episode where we talked about broadcasters. We didn't mention Herb Street at all. That dude, and
Well,
hold on, he's going to be one of the ones that gets big money from one of these companies. And we didn't even mention him as someone we really even consider to be decent at all.
we were talking explicitly about NFL. So the question is, do
But
you value street stakes in the NFL?
I think hasn't Herb Street done some NFL games? I think he has.
He's done a few like Monday Night Football, like dual games or something like that. But I thought about Herb Street last week, as a matter of fact, but I didn't say him because I want him to stay in college football. I think he's better in college, and they need him in college.
I don't want him anywhere. I think he's trash.
You think he's trash?
And I don't know if this has been a conscious decision. And sure, like I'm an Ohio State fan and everything, so I'll be a little bit biased. But the dude has gone. It's like his first month on the job, or maybe even in the interview, they said, "Okay, listen, Herbie, we like you. We want you for the gig, but if you come here and do this, oh look who it is. If you come here and do this, then we can have no." Ohio State homerism. There's not going to be any of that. It's not going to fly, and he has stuck to it to the T. Like he will not say any good thing. He won't even wear red on game day. He's totally abandoned his alma mater. And for that, like you can have I get like addressing your biases, but just call a game and say, hey, I know I'm a Buckeye here, but I'll try to keep things and just like
But is
that
he really a Buckeye though? That's the thing. Like, I
he
don't think he's really that. Yeah, he went to Ohio State,
he
but
played quarterback at Ohio State. What do you mean?
but Ohio State wasn't particularly good to him, and it wasn't like he's not like he's revered in Columbus or anything like that. Like, people
Well, this is
know of
part of the
him
reason why.
but like his kids all went to Clemson. Like he's got no allegiance. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't. Maybe he actually hates Ohio State. Maybe none of this is like he was told not to, and he just is really like, yeah, this is where I went, but I actually just like the sport and period, and I don't really care that much about Ohio State. You know what I mean?
Well, that all that does is just confirm that he's not loyal to anything. What is he loyal to? I mean, what is this? His wife and kids. It's about it. Maybe not even.
He's
Who
loyal.
knows? He travels a lot.
He's loyal to ESPN, which is why he always promotes the 4-team college football playoff.
It's true.
Scumbag that he is. What's up, Drew?
Wait a second. Hold on. Time out. Before we bring Andrew into this, you just called him a. you just said you like him, but you don't want him for the NFL. You want him to stay in college, and then you just called him a scumbag.
Well, I called him I called him a scumbag for anyone that thinks that the college football playoff system is good with 4 teams is a scumbag, and they're in it just for ESPN, and they're chill.
That's a whole separate topic. I kind of want to ask you more because that kind of feels like
college football playoffs.
Well, we're not. We weren't. We really weren't. But and it's like March, the second day of March. We're talking about the college football playoff. Anyway,
if not now, then when?
Actually, it's funny. During the season, I think maybe back in September or October this past year, I had the thought. I was watching some college football, and I had the thought cross my mind, like we should just rank everyone 1 through whatever, and the top 2 teams just play each other for the championship. Get rid of all this crap. So I basically want the BCS back. Anyway, what's up, Drew? Nice to see you, buddy. It's been a while.
Hi guys, how you doing?
We're okay. We were just
chilling,
yelling about Kirk Herbstreit as we usually do.
That's fair. I only popped in because I didn't know if we were going to talk about Kevin's wish being granted of baseball starting to cancel some games.
Transition. Thank you, Andrew. This is the perfect timing because it is time for Scotty's MLB lockout update. Scotty, big news that came. Andrew, you're perfect timing. Big news yesterday, Scotty. I won't spoil anything. I'll let you get right into it. But very big news.
The big news is that they, the players and the MLB could not come up, couldn't come to an agreement, and their deadline of February 28th was what they had kind of said a long time ago. That's when they were going to start considering canceling games. So yesterday they officially canceled the first 2 series, which takes it to early April, and more games will be canceled as this continues to drag out. What's crazy and interesting is that the league posted memos, and they sent letters out to season ticket holders and things like that, saying how hard they've been working to try to come to an agreement, and they've been 17-hour sessions and things like that. But from the players' perspective, they're not anywhere close. The league thinks that there maybe is a chance we might make a deal. They were trying to hype it up in the press that they might be able to figure something out, but they're not offering anything close to what the players want right now, and the players aren't budging. They're not budging at all. So this looks like this could be a pretty long and drawn out thing, unfortunately.
I'm going to read a tweet from everyone's favorite American war hero, Mike Trout. He tweeted out, "I want to play. I love our game. But I know we need to get this CBA right. Instead of bargaining in good faith, MLB locked us out. Instead of negotiating a fair deal, Rob," first name, I'll just note that, "Rob canceled games. Players stand together for our game, for our fans, and for every player who comes after us." We owe it to the next generation. There you go. Mike Trout. He didn't say anything about the money that they want. He didn't say it was for, working conditions or better salaries or the young players. I'm pretty sure Mike Trout's going to be making his money no matter what. So I don't know why he's really. Is he Scotty? I don't know if you know this, but is he one of the player representatives for negotiations? Because that would explain
I
why he's kind of
don't.
chiming in.
I don't know. I want to say no, but I mean he could be. Let's see
You
if
don't have
they
to look at.
represent.
I mean, it doesn't matter all that much. I just was curious as to. But hey, man, I've just been seeing tweets about Rob Manfred coming to the press conference yesterday, like smiling and laughing with reporters, and everybody's like blowing him up, like, dude, your sport is not about. It's like you're losing games here. Like, why are you? You should be not happy. But he knows it's all a dog and pony show, man. This whole thing is baloney. I mean, the players and the owners, it doesn't matter. It's all just a money grab.
It's all about the money.
It's all about the Benjis. Andrew, do you have any
All
thoughts?
about the
You're here to talk about it. Give it to me, buddy.
Well, so like I think the last time that the MLB actually had a canceled full season was that like 94 or something like that. Like they canceled the World Series of that year. I can't remember. They had
in the
some.
'90s.
It was in the 90s, so this hasn't happened for like a long time. But they're saying that this is like the probably the next closest that they will start canceling things to the point where like players aren't even going to show up to play games even like they did in the 90s. Like they were showing up and playing games for basically the heck of it. And they're like, I don't know, man. It's not worth getting injured. So I don't know. It's
Hey,
pretty intense.
the
It's
more the
intense.
more and more games we lose, the more and more exciting the season will be when we return. I'm like, ooh, like a little 120 is feeling good to me. So how long would that take? So like 120 games. So if we get an agreement by what, the end of the month, end of March, early April, that might be
This is
Nah,
assuming that they push everything back, including doing like a preseason. Even if it's like a small preseason, then you'll lose a lot of games pretty quickly.
they're gonna do like a 3 or 4 week preseason before a season starts, whenever that might be. So if they, and that's why they are canceling the first two series, assuming that if they can reach agreement by the end of the week, then they know that they'll have like 3 weeks or whatever, 4 weeks to get ready. So if Kevin, if your happy number is 120 games, then you're probably looking like mid-April is when they would reach the agreement, and that would be about 40 games canceled, I think. So you still have about a month before you should get worried, and
I,
then as it gets into this. At what point? Well, at what point will you then now be upset that you won't have baseball over
It's
the
like
summer?
if it was
well,
just October.
Well, I think that it's much more likely that before it gets to that low of a number, they'll either just cave or they'll cancel the whole thing. Or
Right.
I seriously doubt that they'll do like a 60 game sprint. I don't think that'll ever
They
happen
they did it with COVID. Why wouldn't they do it again?
because
They want to.
that was COVID and there were like
You don't think if
restrictions.
they? I mean, you're still talking about millions of dollars they would leave on off. They're still at play by having a 60 game season.
I think it's
If
especially because they are able to get fans back in the stadiums now. Like they want that money. Everybody does.
I mean,
So they're
the money's not in the fans going to the games. The Pirates wouldn't be
yeah.
a team here if that was the case. It's about TV. So
it's about all of it, but it would be enough incentive for them to at least salvage something and play some games this year. But who knows how? I mean, there's still even if they were going to have a 60 game season, you still have to figure something out by June. So
to answer your question, at what point would I be like, okay, this is going to be a sham season? Like it's just so few games. Like, what's the point? I would think, without having given it much thought, I would say I would say just about the 80 game mark half season. I mean, if the good teams can't be good and stay good for the basically the second half of post All-Star break type schedule, then well, it's not. I don't even need to pose the hypothetical. I think they would. I think the cream would rise to the top in that situation. So if you're doing less than even half the games, you'd probably need you're probably gonna need an asterisk next to the World Series trophy anyway. If you dip under 100, I don't know. They won't do that. I don't think they did that with the COVID. Who won the COVID season? Was it the okay, well, the Dodgers. Yeah, that they're considering that a legitimate championship, right? So I mean, I don't know whether you should or not. I don't know. That's a kind of a different topic that we should have had when that happened.
We did. I definitely said it didn't count.
And I definitely said it did.
All right, excellent. Split three ways here. But
Boom.
anyway, that's okay. So I don't know. I guess I know both of you would like to have the full season. But what do you think about my 80 game thing? I mean, what's your threshold for what this is all bogus anyway?
I'm already upset about it. So they need to get things figured out and start playing games as soon as possible because I want to go back to watching baseball games. I want to go to games. I want to watch games on TV. It's one of the best parts of spring is baseball, And so the longer that this goes for me, the worse that it is. I don't really care about the validity of the season or whatever. Like it doesn't matter to me. I want to actually just watch some dang baseball.
So you don't care. Okay. So would you be fine with them just getting replacement players just so that you can watch some baseball? But it's just not.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, Scotty?
I'd be
Go
cool with
watch some college baseball. Go watch some high school baseball. You can probably go in your town.
No.
You just said.
No.
Hold on a minute. If all you care about is the jerseys, I guarantee there's a Pee Wee league using the Phillies jerseys somewhere, and the logo and the hats, and you can go watch them play. If you don't care about the players,
I don't. It's not about just the jerseys, Kev. That's what you said. I will never watch and be a fan of baseball where they use aluminum bats. Okay, you give me an all wooden bat league, I'll watch that. Okay, I'll watch that. But don't give me that college baseball aluminum bat ting stuff. No, get out of here.
I got a solution for you, Scotty. Replace all of the bats in college with wood. You good now?
I'm great. In fact, I'll start watching college baseball in addition to MLB if you do that.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, if all you care about is watching baseball, well, you can do that. You can watch reruns for all I care. I'm getting ready for my 80 games. I'm not going to watch until July anyway. So keep it going, boys.
Yeah, that's when I lose interest. That's the thing. I like baseball in April, May, June, July. After Nick's birthday in August, I'm over baseball. I'm not going to, I'll pass the Pirate game tickets, and I'm ready to start. It's about football and training camp and all that. But man, the spring and early summer, that's when baseball needs to be firing on all cylinders, and it's not going to happen now, and I'm going to be upset. It's 2 out of the last 3 years. It's BS, man.
All right.
You are wild.
Yeah, this has been a wild time.
I don't have necessarily like a game threshold where I would be disappointed or count the season off. I think what you said is pretty fair. Like if it's under half of the season that gets played, like I don't know. That's weird, but I still think that the best teams will make it like to the playoffs, whatever they do. I don't know. I agree with Scotty though. I do like going to the early spring games, like the home openers and stuff like that is always fun to go to. I get real excited for summer baseball and stuff like that. But I will watch college baseball and stuff. I don't care about the.
Well, you
the
played
teams
college
with the middle
baseball,
bats.
so
I did play, so it's fine. But yeah, I will definitely watch like college. I won't watch high school though. I feel like that's a little stretch. But college games, they get real exciting. That's because all the players are just annoying. and they're like mean to each other and stuff like that. You get a lot of chirping
Hey, you know
in
what?
college
Speaking
baseball.
of college baseball, I threw on ESPN. I threw on Duke versus Wake. Let's say Wake Forest. I don't think it was Wake, but it was the end of the game, and the guy had no chance of actually making an impact. Duke was down, but Duke, this guy from Duke hit it. I saw an in the park home run. Two really bad errors, and I just thought it was hilarious. It reminded me of a kickball game.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome.
All right, so Andrew's
yeah,
good with his college baseball. Scotty's holding out for some reason, just like the players. I don't have anything else to say about baseball. Scotty, you look annoyed. Is everything okay?
Well, you disparage my opinions and takes on
Yes.
college baseball. Really,
And most things, really.
Whatever. Listen, I just don't understand how anyone could be a fan of baseball with an aluminum bat. Like it just.
Scotty, I'm not like here pushing college baseball. I mentioned, would you be okay if they had completely new replacement players? And you said
I
yes,
would be okay with that.
because
Yeah.
which is basically saying you just want to watch baseball.
Yes.
Okay,
That's right.
so there are other avenues to watching baseball. That was my point. There are other people playing baseball right now in the spring, the time that you love baseball. So you could watch if that's all you cared about. But I don't think that's actually all you care about. That's what I'm trying to get to.
I want to watch professional baseball. I'll go to AAA. Like bring all the AAA players, the minor leaguers. Bring them or just
They're
televise
included
minor
in all
league
that.
games.
That's the problem.
I know, but I would watch any of that. All right, moving on. Transition.
Just the book closed. Shut that shit. Well, originally when we got on, we didn't have a third topic, even though I could argue that Batman was our first topic. So we didn't really have a first topic either.
We didn't talk about Kyler Murray.
But I do. Oh,
It's just Kirk Herbstreit.
I forgot about that.
That's
Okay. I don't have much to say. I do have some things to say, but not a whole lot, and not a lot of it's backed with numbers. It's all gut feeling. We love that stuff, right? Okay, so the backstory. Kyler Murray, first overall pick in the 2019 draft. He has put out several messages, but mostly through his agent, that he is unhappy with the team and he wants a long-term deal. He still has 2 more years on his contract, on his rookie contract, if you include the 5th-year option. Technically, they have not offered him his 5th-year option. Technically, if they did, then he'd be a free agent at the end of the 2023 season. So after that's over. Meanwhile, just today, or maybe it was last night, both the Cardinals GM and Kingsbury, the head coach, got contract extensions. I don't know if that plays into anything, but they specifically cite, at least the reporting on it cited, that they got those extensions for taking the Cardinals to the playoffs for the first time in 5 years, something like that. The only thing I wanted to talk about with Kyler Murray is that it makes me, and it's related to Baker. So you have a guy in Kyler who's gone to the playoffs once, hasn't won in the playoffs, and has played well, has a really good team around him, especially if you think about the wide receiver core in his offense. They've got a good defense too. But he's complaining and wants a long-term deal. He's putting out statements. He's causing all kinds of drama. He's literally making this about himself. I mean, I'm not saying he should or shouldn't be doing that either. It's his business. But I want to call out the difference because Kyler doesn't get a lot of negative attention from fans and people that are football fans. He might now, but he hasn't been, and he hasn't historically, even if his play has been so. Can we all, I mean, maybe we can't all agree, but can we all agree that he isn't lighting up the NFL? He isn't like top 5 quarterback in the NFL range. Can we agree on that? I mean, he's somewhere up there. He's in the top 15, but he's still younger. He still has things to prove.
If you say top 5 quarterbacks, period, I would completely agree that he's not up there. I will say if you are talking about fantasy football and just statistical values, then he might be in the conversation of being in the top 5, like fantasy draft value wise. But if I'm a GM and I'm trying to build a franchise, I'm picking at least 7 different quarterbacks above Kyler Murray right now.
Right. Okay.
Easy.
Then we're mostly agreed. I'm talking real football because we're talking about his contract and him. That's he doesn't
Right.
get paid for doing well in fantasy.
Right.
Baker Mayfield has not said a word about wanting a contract, complaining about not securing the bag. He took the 5th-year option. He seems for everything we're seeing, he seems to be working with the team pretty well on at least negotiating something or waiting to negotiate. The dude's had good seasons. The dude's had bad seasons. He's gone to the playoffs. He's won in the playoffs. I don't know why the world hates Baker Mayfield so much. And this is coming from a guy. This is coming from a guy who literally, like, one of the worst nights of my life was the draft when we took him. So I get it. I have changed my tune, my whole worldview. And forget me. Forget how I feel about it. Just the difference between how two players are approaching the same situation. But one is perceived very, very differently, and the other is one negative and one positive.
There are some serious. You can't draw the same comparisons here. Literally, the only similarity that they have is that they are reaching the end of their rookie deals in various forms. Other than that, it is completely 2 different scenarios. Baker Mayfield is in no position to even start negotiating a long-term deal or demanding what Kyler Murray's is potentially demanding here, because Baker Mayfield, the Browns aren't even sure that he's gonna be the guy for the next 5 years.
What does that have to do with it? The Cardinals don't know that Kyler's going to be the guy.
You can't say that Baker Mayfield's just going about this contract situation in such a great way, because he's got no room to negotiate. He's got no room to demand or expect anything. Whereas Kyler Murray's like, hey, I've been doing great things here for the Cardinals. I think they're pretty committed to me. I think that I deserve that to be just contractually bound now, versus the situation with Baker, where what's he going to say out there? Like, I deserve X amount of money, or I deserve a long-term deal, and look what I've done for this team. He can't say that because he hasn't done that much. The team has won despite Baker Mayfield. He knows that this next season is going to be literally life and death for him.
Okay,
so he's
hold
not
on
in any
a second.
position
Hold on
at
a second.
all.
Hold on a second. This is not a tee off on like is Baker good or not. But what I will say to counter,
It's only a part of it.
No, it's not. What I will say to counter what you just said, Scotty, so Kyler Murray still has 1 year on his 4-year contract, and the team has a 5th-year option. Okay, at the same time. That Kyler is raising his concerns or his needs or voicing his frustrations, that would be after, in Baker's contract life cycle, it wouldn't be after this season, but after last season. And after last season, the Browns are coming off of their first playoff appearance in 20 years and their first playoff win in like 30 years. Then he was in a position of power, in a position to negotiate for himself, and he did not do that. So I mean, you can call him dumb for it, but like,
you give him a cookie. I mean, most rookies don't do this.
I'm not asking. No. I'm not that. Okay, that's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Most rookies. First of all, he's not rookies anymore. We're just yelling at each other now.
He's rookie contract.
You can say most players don't, but the only thing I'm trying to showcase here is the difference in perception.
Whose perception? Because I think a lot of people are criticizing Kyler Murray for doing this right now.
Would you?
So yeah, I would. I don't think he should be doing that right now. He's after next season, and he's he's in limbo with the team option. He wants a long term. After next season, and he still puts up some really good numbers, and maybe you want to start actually going for a contract. And I definitely think that this is a bad way to go about it with his agent, like saying the stuff that he's saying about how. He's making it seem almost like the Cardinals are doing him a disservice for not getting him a long-term deal right now, which is ridiculous. So, yeah, I think he's silly for doing all these things. And I think a lot of people in the media are criticizing him for it, too. Saying he shouldn't be going about it this way.
I haven't heard that at all.
No, I have.
Oh, okay.
You don't talk to who I talk to, I guess.
I guess I don't talk to who you talk to. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm trying
I
to
just
like
think it's really.
what?
I
You
think it's
look
really.
at their numbers side to side, though, they're actually pretty comparable quarterbacks,
Tell me more,
which I
Andrew.
think
Tell me more.
is okay. So, like, yes, Kyler has the running game. Okay, in his entire time, he has had 1,786 yards rushing, whereas Baker has only had 571. Um, Baker's had one more full season, so he's going to lead in most of the passing categories. Like, he has more yards, he has more passing touchdowns, by like a significant amount. He has 22 more passing touchdowns than Kyler, but Kyler has 20 rushing touchdowns, whereas Baker only has like 5. So altogether, they're in the 90 range for touchdowns. They bring a lot of the same like win percentage. If you look at that, they're both not like super stellar. So Kyler has only had one winning season. I
Andrew,
mean,
we need to have, you need to join us more often because that gave me time to pull up some stats too. He's right. They're pretty damn
like
close. I mean,
they're
yes,
they're pretty close.
Kyler does have the rushing usage that Baker does not. But in all of those
But
passing categories, what?
they also have different schemes of offenses too.
Well,
Like
currently,
Baker,
they both played
yeah,
in
like
Oklahoma though. I mean, they both came from the
yeah,
same college system. But yes, they play differently now.
yeah. I don't know. I just think that they're pretty comparable, and I wouldn't really like shy away from Baker if you're gonna talk Kyler up this much. Like, they're both about the same quarterback.
If you're going to draw that many similarities, then I'm just going to go ahead and say that Kyler Murray also sucks. You know what I mean? Like
That's what I'm trying to get to. Like the people, if you're not a
Awesome.
Browns fan or an Oklahoma fan, you just don't like Baker Mayfield, and I think it's fascinating. I mean, I literally, as I'm talking as somebody who felt that way, and
yeah, he's an unlikable guy.
but I don't know why.
I love
I don't know
Baker
why.
Mayfield.
There's no you like
Because
your
he,
favorite player is T.O. Like you like you like the
Yeah,
drama.
I like the cocky guys. I like
that's why people don't like him. He's
yeah. That's
arrogant.
why people don't like him.
Scotty, there are tons of arrogant players that you like. Ocho
Joe
Cinco,
Burrow's
you don't like
pretty-
Joe. You don't
pretty
think Joe. You
arrogant.
don't think Joe Burrow's arrogant? I mean, you don't think he's
Joe Burrow's
cocky?
not arrogant at all. If you
Yes,
listen,
he is.
Oh my
Joe Burrow's not cocky.
Joe
Burrow's not
Burrow
cocky.
is so cocky. Yes,
You
he
listen to
is.
him talk. He's confident. There's a very different thing. He's like Joe Burrow would never. Joe Burrow.
There
would
is a
never,
thin line between cocky and confident, Scotty.
Yeah,
There is. I agree.
You're just
Like,
wrong here, and it's fine.
He's on the right side of that line. No, Joe Burrow's not an in-your-face like, oh yeah, like he's a very humble person who's confident in his abilities. That's what Joe Burrow is. He
I'm gonna
doesn't.
send you a slew of gifs of him just smoking cigars and stuff like that with shades on and all these
smart.
different things.
Looking
He's got his funny
cool.
outfits and all this stuff.
Looking
He's got
cool,
the
looking
swag.
cool.
He's doing it. He's
Looking
being
cool
cocky.
and being cool is different than Baker Mayfield planting the Oklahoma flag in the middle of Ohio Stadium.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Hold on a second, Andrew. Hold on a second, Andrew. Every opinion you have of Baker Mayfield comes from what he did 5 years ago or before. Nothing that he's done aside from be on the Browns because you're a Bengals fan.
because he sucked for the Browns,
No,
so he's
but
got nothing to brag about.
No, but the arrogance, the cockiness, all that stuff happened in college when he was absolutely more so that way. But he has turned the professional
Yeah.
corner.
Playing for a bad team also humbles you a little bit, I guess. So I mean, maybe that's helped him out a little bit. But that's who he is. He's an unlikable guy.
I just don't. But you're saying he's unlikable for reasons I don't think are fair. I think that they're not actually well informed reasons.
Okay.
You don't know the guy. You don't know his personality. You don't know. You don't even. What do you even know about the dude? That he grabbed his crotch during a game, and he planted a flag, and that was it. What else? What else makes him unlikable? It's probably his gap, and probably because he's white.
White. I like white people.
Sorry. All right, we have that on record. It's the gap in the teeth. It's the gap in the teeth.
The gap in the teeth. Does he have a gap in his teeth?
Of course he does. Are you kidding me? See, you don't even know what he looks like. All right, fraudulent. We're transitioning, Scotty. You can look at all the pictures you want. I wanted to bring up one more thing, and because I'd feel like doing everybody a disservice if I didn't. The NFL Combine starts tomorrow, boys. The NFL offseason is in full swing. All right, so unless you guys have opinions on anything about the Combine, my plan is just to run through the happenings of the weekend. Are you cool with that? Do you guys will you tune in at all to the Combine here? Andrew's
No.
shaking his head no. Thank you. It's an audio medium.
I
Sorry,
will
no,
I
I
will
do not.
I will review some of the stats of the combine, or I'll read some of the summaries, but I'm not going to watch it. No.
I mean, you're going to look up how players you want in the draft did, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
There you go.
Yeah, but I'm not going to. I would never watch. The only thing I might watch from the combine is the the replays of the 40-yard dash where they actually put a normal person running at the same time, so you can see how fast. You know what I mean? Like when they see one year where Rich Eisen ran the 40 and saw how slow he went, and then see this 400-pound lineman just totally blow him out of the. That's the only thing that I might watch from the combine, but otherwise, I just I can't watch football drills. I got more important things to do with my time.
40-yard dashes are the dumbest thing to watch. Actually, I hate watching those. They're so obnoxious. I like watching. I would rather watch the drills where it's like the QB precision stuff.
Yeah,
and
but
they're
you're not
like,
going to watch any of it, so
I know I'm
what
not
is
going
even
to watch
saying
any
that
of
matter?
it, but like anytime you see highlights and stuff like that, you just watch people sprint 40 yards. Get that off. That's not news. It's bullshit. That's dumb.
Okay, well, I could disagree with all of you. I love the Combine. I've been to the Combine. It's a fascinating experience, not because it's fun and entertaining, but it's just different than how any other football thing you've gone to or seen or participated in. It's like this. It's this environment where it feels very clinical. Even as an observer, they take you way up into the stands and they sit you in the sections that's way up high on Lucas Oil, and nobody's really talking. It's really, really quiet. There's no cheering. There's no nothing. So even if somebody does a really great job, there's very little noise, and you can kind of need to be quiet. They give you a radio to listen to the NFL's broadcast of it, and they have the stuff up on the jumbotron of who's coming up next. But otherwise, it's like a clinic. It literally is people are doing research and studying the performance on the field. It's really fascinating. Not that it's cool or worthwhile. It's interesting. But if you like the way I would equate the what I would kind of talk about when I talk about the combine, it's kind of like if you're into those really niche, small Olympic sports. This is like Olympic events for football. You got the cone drill, you got the 40-yard dash, you got all your position drills. If you think about it that way, it's kind of cool. There's no prize, there's no medal at the end, but bragging rights at least.
That's cool. But how do you think it's going to change now that a lot of larger name players are opting out of the combine instead doing pro days and stuff instead?
Well, it's always been a thing. You see a lot of quarterbacks do that. And I think more players, you're right, Scotty. More and more players will do that. I don't think it'll impact. Well, first of all, I don't think the combine's going to do anything ratings wise. Even though they're changing things around this year, which I will get into, to I think try to help that a little bit. But there's always players that. The cool thing about watching the combine is there's always players that just pop up that you forgot about, and you're like, oh shit, that's right. That guy plays at San Diego State, and he killed it last year. I know his name. And now you kind of get excited for him to see where he's going to go in the draft, those obscure running backs that'll be day 3 picks. The big linemen that do shit. So it's kind of cool, especially wide receivers too. It's cool as fantasy as well. The one thing I'll say, I've said a lot of things, and I've said the one thing as a phrase many times already. I'll never forget not thinking much of one player in particular until I saw them at the combine, and it was Christian McCaffrey. That dude, you can just tell with certain players, they just stand out because they're going right one after each other. You guys have seen at least clips of it. He stood out so much, especially with open field drills, like catching things out of the backfield. You're right, Andrew. It's not so much the 40-yard dash, even though I do think that's important in some way, shape, and form. But it's cool to see the play. You can actually see the players that, oh yeah, that guy's actually going to be really good. Because they're all like alphabetical and shit. So, all right, quickly tomorrow. Tight ends, quarterbacks, wide receivers. Oh boy. Oh baby. That's the big one. So one thing that the NFL's done is usually the combine starts in the morning and it goes until like 1 or 2. They're not starting until 4 o'clock. So 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. is when all of the combine activity is going to be going on. So it's all in the afternoon. The only thing I can imagine is that's for like TV stuff because I can't imagine it's better.
Primetime TV, yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know who's tuning in the combine, but I imagine tomorrow around 7 or 8 p.m. is when all of the quarterbacks will be doing all of their throwing drills and stuff. So Friday is offensive line and running backs, very exciting. Saturday is defensive line and linebackers. The weekend, if it were me, I would have the quarterbacks and stuff on the weekend because more people are likely to tune in. I've got more time to do anyway. And then Sunday is place kickers and defensive backs. That's when you get the last like push of like speed guys. But there you go. That's your combine update. Very exciting. I don't know who's opted out. Scotty, it sounds like you know at least 1 or 2 people that have opted out.
I think.
Okay, very good. So listen, watch a little bit of the combine, Scott. Andrew, watch a little bit of the combine.
All right,
great. That's
Trust me. If I'm going to tune into any day, it's going to be Friday with running backs and offensive line. I'm going to look at every single offensive lineman and see what's up because the Bengals literally need to use all 7 picks on linemen this year. So
that's fair.
They absolutely do. All
they
right.
probably won't use any of them, but they need to use all of them.
All right. Well, I think that's it. Peter,
Andrew, any last words? Last words for Andrew? It's been a little while.
Oh, we owe him. We owe him some shit. Andrew,
I owe you guys some shit.
What do you owe?
I have to do inconveniences still. I haven't been on for ages.
I think we all owe a few of those.
Okay, well,
we need to have one big mega cast where
it's just a full-on inconvenience.
Yeah, it's just the whole episode, just one inconvenient episode.
Bunch of shenanigans.
Yeah.
No, but I did well in our picking football on the spread.
Andrew, it came down to the Super Bowl itself, but Andrew won the jersey, and you have, I guess, announced it here. Who are you selecting as your jersey reward?
Big sexy Bakhtiari for the Green Bay Packers. Let's go, baby.
There you go. We will do our best to deliver that jersey in time for the season at least.
That's fair. Time for the season. I'll take that.
All right, boys.
I want to wear it for our fantasy draft.
That's fine too. That's all good.
There we go. Boom.
Good luck out there. Enjoy the combine, and no more baseball. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I gotta work on my endings. Scotty, you hate Baker Mayfield so much?
I do hate Baker Mayfield. Yeah. He's a douche.
He's not a douche.
He's
so funny.
He definitely is.
I love the way he takes interviews. Whenever they lose, he's like, "What do you want from me? This is we lost. Yeah, we played bad. He doesn't things
do
wrong.
Every time. He's gotten a lot better at it. But to say that Joe Burrow is not cocky is just crazy.
Yeah, that's horse shit.
It's bananas.
He's not cocky. There's a difference.
Hockey.
the difference.
They're showing him
not-
pictures of his high school pictures, and they're like, "Does this look like a national champion to you?" Hell yeah. What do you mean? Not
He's
cocky.
not. There's the difference. The difference between like confident and cocky is that Joe Burrow's not in your face about it. Baker Mayfield is in your face about it. You know,
He's in your
Joe
face
Burrow-
about it. He hasn't done. You couldn't cite an example since his college days. That's like he's in your face about it.
What was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
flying around?
I'm in
your
your face
room back
about
there?
it.
He's in my face. If you listen to anything Joe Burrow says, there's like he's a likable guy. Everyone loves Joe Burrow. He's like hell Steelers fan. Every Steelers fan I know. It's like, oh,
Guy,
you know,
here's
boy,
the
I love that
problem.
Joe Burrow, though.
Here's
He's a
the
great
problem
guy.
with your argument is I like Joe Burrow, and I like him because he's a cocky asshole.
He's not a cocky
Scotty,
asshole.
hold on, Andrew. You got rose-colored glasses on right now, Scotty, because he's coming. The Bengals are coming off the Super Bowl hype. They were the underdog. People root for an underdog, so that's why you heard a lot of random people on the street, random people at Disney World, a bunch of family members that are all from Ohio saying that they like Joe Burrow. Well, guess what? After next season, especially after the season after that, once they're successful and then the shine's worn off and now it's like put up or shut up time, all those people are going to fall right away. And then it'll just be you with the Joe Burrow shirt on, waving that flag.
If we keep winning, I'm going to wave it proudly. I don't give a shit.
It's good that they didn't win the Super Bowl, because if he had won the Super Bowl, then everybody could just be like, "Oh, he got one. Okay, bye-bye. Like, no more Joe Burrow. Time for the next person."
First off, it's never good that they didn't win. Second off, if people were like that, fine. Get the people off the bandwagon, and I'll still be happy with my Super Bowl trophy. And I'll buy my Joe Burrow jersey with my Super Bowl logo on it. You know, listen, as long as he wins, I don't care what anyone else thinks. But I know he's not a cocky guy.
Riveting stuff, Scotty. All right, I got to go. All right, so if you've listened this far, you must, for some reason, like what you've heard. So given that, please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitter @ObsessionCast for all future episode updates and whatever else we might post, sports related or otherwise. Thanks for watching.